Hi, my name is Kate and I'm going to be delivering a presentation on behaviour management within the classroom, but more specifically relating to the classroom environment and the students I work with. I'm currently teaching 18 to 20-year-olds who all have special educational needs. There are 8 students who all require additional support at college. Firstly, I want to explore the behaviours that are widely found within the stereotypical classroom setting, reflecting the age range of students I teach, potentially linking the behaviours to the ones that I have within my classroom. A journal article, Punish Them or Engage Them, Teachers' View of an Unproductive Student Behaviours in the Classroom, written in 2014 in Australia by Anna M. Sutherland, Bruce Johnson, Larry Owens and Robert Conway. Their research led to recurring themes from what was discovered, and it was said that ineffective classroom management leads to detrimental effects, including student resistance and disengagement, general misbehaviour and in some cases school violence. This quote sums up the ideas of what happens if there are appropriate interventions to assist with managing behaviour in the classroom. Naomi Bolton has used her knowledge of working within a classroom setting to write a guide to behaviours on the classroom website for people to use and explore to aid their knowledge of different behaviour types and how they are categorised. She has put behaviours into 4 key areas: sensory processing disorder, aggressive students, inappropriate language and inattentive students. In addition to these 4 areas, I have added behaviours that could also have a detrimental effect on the running of a classroom, such as use of phones and social media, relationships, behaviours caused by special educational needs, and frustration from students who may be non-verbal or have difficulty in communicating. In my classroom, I currently experience a range of behaviours that sometimes affect the output of level of work I get from my students. However, I manage these in a way that is safe and suitable for the students I work with, but also with the support of a team of staff to assist in managing behaviour effectively to meet the needs of the students and the expectations I have set. The behaviours that I see within the classroom at present are aggressive and physical challenging, behaviours that are specific to the students and their educational needs and could be very different every time a behaviour occurs. Frustration from students who are non-verbal find it difficult to communicate effectively, and then those who struggle with sensory processing. In relation to the students that I teach and work with on a daily basis, their behaviours equally affect the way the classroom is run, but can also have an effect on those around them. The effect of the behaviours I deal with, which I experience within my classroom, are as follows: disruption caused to students and staff, students less likely to complete work or progress onto future courses that the department offer. Students can stay until they're 25, providing academic progress is being made. Disruptions can cause heightened atmosphere for the teachers, students and support staff. Increased levels of anxiety can be displayed by students because of this. Students can become disengaged with the subject or the lesson as a whole. Arguments and fights can occur, and therefore interventions have to be put in place by myself and the support staff. Damaged relationship, staff and students, students and students. There can be anxieties amongst staff and students if increased behaviours are displayed to a particular member of staff or student, causing a negative relationship to develop. Damage to property, where there have been cases where tables, chairs and computers have been damaged when aggressive and physical behaviours have been displayed. Abandonment of lessons may happen if there is no other intervention that is suitable or safe for the student displaying behaviour, remaining students and the staff in the situation. With regards to different behaviours displayed by students, this is going to have a knock-on effect as to how the classroom is run, ultimately causing there to be lost time of the level of the work that is to be being completed, but also takes the emphasis away from learning when behaviours are having to be managed regularly. The emphasis is then effectively taken away from teaching and learning taking place due to the distractions that are facing the classroom. In a stereotypical classroom around the same age of the students that I work with, there would be issues that would occur to affect the classroom as a whole. Students, support staff and the teacher will then reflect on the successfulness of the students and the level of work they produce. Behaviours will affect the running of the classroom in different ways, such as disruption to students and staff. Students are less likely to finish work that has been set and the progress onto other work, but then more widely progress onto different courses and additional years of their current courses to complete their qualifications. Increased heightened atmosphere for all in the classroom, disengagement and distractions due to phones and the use of social media, and increased possibility of bullying taking place. There was an interview that was conducted between the SEM magazine and Dr. Paul Holland, who is a behavioural psychologist who works with children and young people who have a range of behavioural issues. He believes that there needs to be a whole school approach to managing behaviour to ensure there is a more coherent approach to ensuring behaviours are managed consistently. He has also said, children do not misbehave just because they can. There's always a reason, which coincides with his comment regarding that everything we come into contact with, including people, have an effect on our behaviour. It has also been said by Dr. Holland that when choosing the most appropriate intervention to assist in behaviour management, that two elements have to be taken into consideration in the most serious form, and they are the specific needs of the student and the abilities of the child. More specifically, Dr. Holland has stated that the approach that is needed for students who have special educational needs and how their approach may need to differ. Plans to address the behaviours within the classroom need to be multidisciplinary due to different people working with that student in question. The families, especially parents, need to be involved in this process as they are the ones who will be incorporating the interventions into the real world. Student A has autism and at times shows incredibly challenging behaviour such as pinching, headbutting, lying on the floor when out on trips, running off and shouting. He's really reluctant to work and can be difficult to motivate. Reasons for this behaviour can be because he wants to be on a computer, he doesn't want to do any work, and he may be out of his usual routine. He may be hungry or tired. Another student may have aggravated him by making a sudden noise or be in his personal space, or he may have a sensory overload.
So this bottle is going to represent student A, or Max as we shall call him. So Max likes to wear the same thing to college every day. However, this morning when he got ready, his clothes weren't ready for him, which caused him to become overly anxious. And because of this, his usual morning routine was disrupted and he wouldn't eat breakfast. When his transport arrived, he had a different escort and the driver took a different route. Once Max arrived at college, he had to wait longer than usual to come in. And when he finally came in, it was really noisy. Max was hungry and very heightened. Max was then expected to hang up his coat and put his bag away and then enter his first lesson of the day. So entering his first lesson of the day would be like me taking the cap off this Pepsi Max bottle. Would it be a good idea, or is it a good idea to somehow bring Max back down before entering his lesson?
Yeah.
So Max is extremely heightened, but he's greeted by his usual support staff member who is told by the escort that he's heightened. The member of staff calmly encourages Max into college. Once in college, Max is given the opportunity to wear some ear defenders as the building's noisy. Max puts away his belongings and is offered a drink, some toast and some time to sit for 5 minutes. The member of staff working with him is always conscientious about the language they are using with Max, their tone of voice and their body language, so everything is positive. Max is given his schedule so he can see what is happening for the rest of the day and is given 5 minutes on a computer with a timer before he's expected to begin his lessons. So that has stopped a crisis. I think the most important thing with challenging behaviour is to know your learners and know your students and know how to not hit crisis point. Also to be thinking about your language and the way you're stood so you don't come across as aggressive, and basically knowing them is probably the most important thing so you're able to bring them round in those situations.
To conclude the research and personal input I have used within this behaviour management presentation, I've learnt a few things that will influence my teaching and approach of teaching when in the classroom to ensure there is a more coherent approach to managing behaviour effectively, which is safe and suitable to the student, staff and myself as the person with the main level of responsibility and duty of care. 3 things that I have learned. It would be beneficial to have a consistent approach to managing behaviours with all those involved with the student or students in question to ensure all parties are singing from the same hymn sheet, as this will ensure all staff are approaching the situation in the right way in order to limit their behaviours that are being displayed by the student. It would appear that in any given behaviour situation, there is always going to be an underlying issue as to why this has occurred, which means that the behaviours are not happening for any reason, that there are contributing factors leading to the outburst to take place. This is shown in the conflict spiral, which states that experiences bring on feelings, which then drive behaviours leading to reactions. The conflict spiral is used within Team Teach, which is a positive handling training to support staff in working with students who have emotional and behavioural difficulties, and is so very appropriate for the students that I work with. Their aim, through the promotion of de-escalation strategies and the reduction of risk and restraint, to support teaching, learning and caring by increasing staff confidence and competence in responding to behaviours that challenge, whilst promoting and protecting positive relationships. And lastly, a multidisciplinary approach is suited for students who have special educational needs due to the different people that are associated and work with the student. And so there are many different parties that needed to be involved to support the strategies that are going to be put into place to benefit the student when they are displaying difficult behaviours that require further interventions. And so having a multidisciplinary approach will allow for different persons to approach the students differently, but allowing there to be success in limiting the behaviours and the level that is being displayed, and hope that they will be limited and subsequently stopped. Recommendations I am aiming to put in place and to support myself, staff and students to ensure all are kept safe whilst they are in my care when I'm teaching. To ensure all staff are aware of the students and their needs, the behaviours they display and strategies that are in place to support. All staff are aware of their own tone, body language and language that is being used. Strategies that are put into place are suitable, effective, meeting the needs of the students. Reviews to take place with regards to students and their behaviour, but also the strategies that are being used. Use of parents and outside agencies to support strategies that don't seem to be working. Level of knowledge is kept up to date and relevant to the student. Use of de-escalation before anything else. Physical interventions to be used as a last resort. References I've used to support my presentation and findings with regards to behaviour management within the classroom. Thank you for watching and listening.